Feng Wei, the power-hungry Kenpo practitioner and master of the God Fist, has been mostly dormant in competitive play throughout most of Season 2 and 3, with only a few loyalists carrying the banner. This last year plus, things have somewhat changed.
Nice.
Let's unpack why this might be the case. With each season, characters get added, tactics get explored, and characters get their moves tuned. This is part of the reason why after the relative popularity in Season 1, Feng became less common of a sight in Season 2 and 3, having received nerfs to his Kenpo and 10-hit string. It's good to start here since most balance changes can be interpreted in a straightforward way, whether it improves or weakens a character. When Season 4 came along, he was one of the lucky few that got buffs all across the board. Spread throughout multiple patches, not just the big Season 4 update that dropped in November, Feng received buffs to his combos, Punishment received new counter-hit properties, down back 3 being a big one, some attacks became safer on block, and his Sabaki improved. Dude, without a doubt, got better. Then there's the other side of balance changes. Some top tiers got nerfed. Fakuram, Steve, Kazumi, Paul, Jin, Leroy, and Akuma all received some down tuning in some way or another. With both high-level competitors and intermediate players, nerfs can cause them to look for greener pastures, or simply try out characters that they initially wrote off, or they're just tier whores. Character popularity isn't only affected by their relative power level, we are also influenced by those around us, or in competitive games in particular, what the pros do and say. One of the few offline international events this year... Let's do that again. One of the few offline international events last year was the We Play Ultimate Fighting League, where Pakistan's Arslan Ash battled against Spain's Kuiper. The set concluded in a double Luigi, which Kuiper won by the skin of his teeth. Sometime later, Arslan took to Twitter and shared some of his reflections on the match. I thought about this too much, and now I think the issue was I don't have too much Zafina vs Feng matchup knowledge. Kuiper was ready for this and studied my playstyle, and now I discovered that Feng is the bad matchup for Zafina. Whether you personally agree or not with Arslan's thoughts expressed in the tweet, language like X is a bad matchup for Y can paint a very strong picture. A player of his caliber who has thousands of fans and people aspiring to reach his level of play will most certainly have some rippling effect on the discourse surrounding Feng. Outside of players verbalizing their thoughts on certain characters, we are also affected by sheer exposure. Since Season 4 dropped, players like Joey Fury, Kikoma, Nobi, Joka, Kuiper, Gen, Knee, all have gotten great results in tournaments with Feng Wei. Players like Joey Fury and Nobi weren't even known for playing Feng in tournaments, which brings even more attention to the character. Hey, happy 2022. I've got big plans for the new year with more consistent and high quality videos. So if you're enjoying the video you're watching right now, consider supporting by rating the video or subscribing to my channel. I even started a Patreon where you can support me in that particular way. Either way, let's get on with the conclusion of this video. Feng receiving buffs and gaining more exposure from top players are pretty clear-cut factors for his increased global presence. Still, I'd like to start a discussion and share some of my ideas on why he's a good pick for a high-level first to 2, first to 3 tournament meta. Feel free to bounce off of those ideas in the comments below. First of all, addressing the elephant in the room, the new counter-hit effect on down back 3 is legitimately crazy. It was already a fast, long-range, plus on hit, and tracking both ways low with good range. Now on top of that, it has a counter-hit effect that deals a grip of damage and leaves your victim in an awkward position on the ground. Outside of that, one of the things that made Feng less appealing was his punishment. It was by no means trash with a very solid 10 frame standing punish and 13 frame shoulder. He nonetheless got punishment buffs. His while standing 1-2 received both a damage and startup speed buff, and both his shoulder and hop kick got damage buffs. High level players are less prone to throwing out punishable stuff. so getting maximum return on them when the opportunity appears is a big part of winning a match. Related to his improved punishment, lots of launchers and combo pieces received damage increases. Feng has often been considered to be on the average to lower side of combo damage, with his hop kick staple resulting in 56 damage for most of Tekken 7's lifespan. Now he can hang out in the same orbit as some other hard-hitting characters in the cast, particularly if you have a large hurt box and he can take you to the wall. And most of all, the reason I think he can do well in tournaments is his slippery nature. Keeping Feng in the offensive blender can be tricky. With his fast counter back 1 in his back pocket, evasive up forward 2, the ribcage poke, and almost teleporting backsway blow, multiple strong high crushing options, and a very strong Sabaki parry. All of these require specific choices to keep in check, or if you decide to not press your advantage, Feng can take note of your hesitation and flip the offense onto you. Then there's Kenpo, which is a bit less useful in up-close brawls, but obviously can make approaching Feng in the neutral very tricky indeed. I personally think Feng is one of the hardest characters to get the life lead back from if the Feng player prioritizes making your approach as hard as possible. Those are my thoughts on the rise of Lord Feng Wei. If you find I missed something or you have your own observations, let's get a dialogue started in the comments. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next episode of Gil Poolsma.